I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I am going to item number 3, to hear and consider and act upon the minutes of September 13th and September 20th, 2021. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Excuse me. I am going to ask for a motion to move up item number 8 to the beginning. Mr. Papa George has a conflict later on, and I just wanted to make sure that we can get this item done. Do I have any?
So I can make that motion.
Sure, go right ahead.
Second it.
Motion to move the item as described.
Thank you.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let me go to it. Excuse me. To hear and consider and authorize the purchasing authority to enter into a proposed contract with Van Zelm, Haywood, and Shadford Incorporated to provide recommissioning authority services for 16 Fairfield Public School building facilities per an RFQ in the amount not to exceed $520,594. Capital outlay 20-year account. This is obviously something we already voted on. This is the contract for the item, and Executive Director of Operations Angelos Papa George and our Purchasing Director are on the line to present this item. And I'll hand it over to you, Angelos.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So yes, as Madam Selectman said, this is a item that was approved on in the capital non-reoccurring last year. So we're just trying to move it forwards. We went through the RFP process, and Van Zelm Engineering was the company chosen to move forwards with. So they provided the AIA contracts, and I believe they've.
Is anybody else having? Yeah, is there anybody else having problems hearing?
I can hear fine.
Yeah, I'm not having any
Okay.
issues.
Can you ask Jennifer to send me the? I'm sorry, Mr. Papa George. Can you ask Jennifer to send me the phone dial-in? I'm having some bad internet.
It was in the all that information, I think, and when.
Yeah, I can barely hear you. My apologies.
I can send it to you in the chat, Tom, if you can read the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
My apologies. Thanks, Dave, if you could send that.
No worries. Should we hold off?
I love technology.
It's right up there.
Yeah, I don't have it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Go ahead and I'll catch up, if you don't mind.
So this is the AIA contracts that I believe Mr. Baldwin has reviewed. And I know there was a couple of questions this morning that we've gotten updates on. I don't know if you all have any questions on the contracts. Or if Mr. Foley has anything to add.
I don't, but thank you.
This is Gerald Foley. No, I had nothing to add.
Sorry, and I meant that
Hello?
I had no additional questions. Not that I have anything to add to your presentation.
So, Mr. Papageorge, in the write-up, it says that it's the capital non-recurring. So this came about through the capital budget, not through the regular operating budget, correct?
Correct. And it was the non-reoccurring request was slightly over what the bids came in at, so there will be a savings there as well.
All right. I want to make sure, Mr. Baldwin, you've reviewed all the contracts here and we don't have any issues with any of the provisions of the contracts.
Yes, this is Jim Baldwin. That's correct. This is a very standard AIA agreement, so there's nothing unusual or problematic.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Is there any further discussion on this item?
For me.
Okay, very good. Okay, we have an motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries. All right, Angeles, thank you.
Thank you, and thank
Thanks,
you all for
Angeles.
hearing me ahead of time.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you, Angela.
All right, next item is we're going back to item 4 to hear and consider and act upon the following appointment to the Bike and Ped Committee. Richard Soldano of Sterling Street. The term will be, he's filling a vacancy. The term was from 11/20 to 11/24. And do I have a motion to consider the item?
So moved.
Seconded.
Very good. And is that you, Richard? I think you're on mute, Richard. Sorry. Go ahead, talk. I still can't hear you. I'm sorry.
No problem. Could everybody hear me now?
Yes, very good.
Cool.
So,
Thank you. Sorry
welcome.
about that.
That's no problem. I know that's our virtual world. Welcome to our Board of Selectmen meeting, and thank you for stepping up to serve on the Bike and Ped Committee. I've said this in the past. I appreciate everyone who does serve our different boards of commissions, and we have a lot. Especially the Bike and Ped. It's been very crucial to us over the last several years, especially during COVID, because so many more people were out walking and biking. So I appreciate you stepping up to serve on the committee, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
And I'll open it up to the board if they have any comments.
Yeah, if I could. Although, Richard, we didn't get a chance to speak, I did have a chance to speak to the chair, Sarah, who I know you spoke to for about an hour. And she
Yes.
recommended you quite with great excitement, and so and talked about your qualifications. So I know you bring a lot to the table. It's really great that you're stepping up to serve. So thank you, because I echo what the first Selectwoman just said. It's such an important commission. So thank you.
Yes, I'm very excited to be a part of the town and to be a part of the committee. A little bit of my background: I'm a transplant from Queens, New York. So when I moved to Fairfield, I was very excited to get involved in the town. I was involved in Queens, and I want to be involved here in the town. And I love to bicycle ride. I love to walk around. And so I thought this would be a great fit for me.
Best of luck to you, and thank you for agreeing to serve.
Thank you very much.
Very good. If there's no further comment, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Item passes unanimously, and congratulations and thanks again.
Thank you
And
very much.
I will tell you what I tell everyone who's just on for an appointment. You're welcome to stay, but you're also free to leave.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Richard, take care.
You too.
Okay, our next item is item number 5. To hear and consider and authorize the town of Fairfield to enter into a proposed agreement with United Illuminating regarding procedures, obligations, liabilities, rates, charges, and general terms regarding the attachment of communication lines by the town or its contractors to UI-owned utility poles utilizing municipal gain with fees pursuant to contract schedule. And we have Dave Kelly and Gerald Foley on the line. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Sorry, did you hear me?
Lynch?
Seconded. Yep, seconded. Sorry, I was on mute.
Okay, very good. Dave, do you want to, Dave Kelly? Do you wanna-
Sure.
Sure.
Sure. Okay, so this is probably a somewhat unusual contract that you're reviewing here in that there is no dollar amount directly attached to it or anything like that. What this is an agreement that United Illuminating has been after the town for quite a long time to sign, which controls the right to use space on their utility poles for town purposes using what is generally referred to as the municipal gain. By law, the utility companies have to offer to municipalities space on their poles to install any kind of communication wiring and things like that that they may want to do. And whether or not we have anything on the poles, and at the moment we do not, they want all towns to sign this agreement, which is the basic rules of the road, as it were, for getting on their poles. As it happens, they started contacting us about signing this agreement at about the same time we began considering the idea of actually having the town buy and install its own fiber optic network, which was just recently approved by the boards and the RTM in the COVID rescue funding. So it happens that we're going to need to be a party to this agreement going forward in order to get on the poles. And in fact, we are in the process of speaking with Frontier Communications, who may also own or co-own some of the poles in town for a similar such agreement so that we can proceed with the project.
Mr. Baldwin, I assume, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut in there. Madam First Selectwoman, may I ask a couple questions?
Of course, sure.
Thanks. Mr. Baldwin, what is this, or Mr. Kelly, what does this agreement say we have to do? How, does it tie our hands in any way? What's kind of the implication of signing this?
I can take that, or Jim can.
Yeah, why don't you take it, Dave? And if I have anything to add, I'd be happy to do so.
Sure. Okay. So it actually, in the attachments and exhibits on the agreement, have the actual diagrams. You'll see drawings of what our contractor would to do to properly attach things to their poles. But there's also an exhibit in there showing that the town's cost of entering this agreement is $0. The cost of being on a pole is $0. But there are various fees for time and materials to do certain things on those poles. And when the town is on a pole, we are responsible for performing here and there for things like a pole repair or replacement. We have to arrange to have our wires moved to a new pole so that the utility company can remove the old pole. As part of the exhibits at the end of this agreement, there's actually penalties if we don't do that within a reasonable amount of time. So there is some commitment by the town to be reasonably reasonable about moving our wires if needed, should they have to replace poles, whether they're being replaced due to damage or upgrade or whatever.
Well, I was just wondering whether there's any quote-unquote gotchas in here that should cause us any concern. I saw all the stuff you're referring to. But not being an attorney, I'm wondering if there's something that's a gotcha, because if they've been chasing us down, I wonder why.
Yeah, this is Attorney Baldwin. I can tell you that we did negotiate through several rounds of discussions, certain changes where it was possible to be in a gotcha situation, or at least, it was ambiguous. So we just clarified the language. But I'm now comfortable, and we've negotiated those terms, and so hopefully there are no such gotchas in here. Not that I can see from my perspective. But I will also tell you this: that this is a standard agreement that they are having all municipalities sign. I got the impression that most just sign away without negotiating. It's also controlled by the DPUC. Who oversees all such matters. So there's kind of an extra layer of protection against municipalities, including the town of Fairfield, against the situations where they might try to take advantage of the town inappropriately. So I'm very comfortable with the agreement as it's presented to you.
Thanks, Jim. Dave, is there anything in this agreement as we're signing it kind of preemptively as you're negotiating and talking to others about the fiber optic network, or soon will be? Is there any area, did you look at this agreement with that in mind? I'm assuming yes. And did you have any red flags or concerns as you start to talk about fiber optic networks?
Well, I have to confess, I don't have Jim Baldwin's eye for the legal aspects of it, but I have spoken with a potential vendor to install the network for the town, and they're very experienced in the state, and they've worked in towns with UI, and they know what this agreement is. They have to comply with it as they're installing networks for their customers. So I'm as comfortable as Jim is that the agreement is it's something we have to have in order to get on the polls at all. And I don't see anything in there that as a layperson trying to read a somewhat legal document that concerns me that way.
Okay, thank you for that. I have nothing else, Madam First Selectwoman.
Nancy, do you have anything?
I don't, thank you.
Okay. Seeing no further questions or comments, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I can't hear you, Nancy.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Our next item is item number 6, to hear and consider and authorize the purchasing authority to enter into a proposed contract with Bricks Incorporated to provide a new fire station alerting system solution for Fairfield County Emergency Communication Dispatch Center project RFP in the amount not to exceed $237,000 for the system solution equipment, and in the amount not to exceed $3720 for annual maintenance. Capital outlay fund. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Seconded.
And we have Chief McCarthy and Chief Dunn on the line, and I'll hand it over to you, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. Thank you. What you have before you is a contract that has been prepared by Bricks, reviewed by the purchasing department and Attorney Baldwin. This is the portion of the project that will be installed in the Emergency Communications Center, part of our joint communications project with our neighboring town of Westport. The contract, and Mr. Baldwin can speak further on it. There are a couple of technical changes, but none that affect the operation of the contract. Clearly, we are looking to have this portion of the construction completed by the end of this year, so that we can open the joint center with our neighboring community, as we've been working on this for 3 or 4 years now, and would like to bring it to a successful opening at the end of the year.
Mr. Baldwin, do you have anything to add?
Hi, Jim Baldwin. I would just add that there are 2 contracts before you which are nearly identical,
Right.
except for really the exhibits. And maybe a half hour before this meeting got started, I got confirmation from Bricks that they had agreed to my proposed changes. I sent all the board members a copy of the red line version that reflect those changes, but as Chief McCarthy said, they're not really material to the operations of the actual services that are going to be provided. It was more in terms of technical changes, legal nuances, but they've all been agreed to, and I think that everybody's eager to move forward.
I've got a couple of questions here from the accounting and finance side, but I'll defer to my colleagues if they have anything first.
Nancy, do you have anything?
Nope, thank you.
Go ahead, Tom.
Thanks. So I noticed on the, and this might be for Jared. Hey, Jared. I'm noticing on the item themselves on both number 6 and number 7, they talk about annual maintenance and then they go into the capital outlay funds. Is that, first of all, I want to know, are these amounts within the budgeted amounts or the approved amounts relative to these projects?
This is Gerald Foley. Yes, the amount budgeted for this particular system was $259,000. So this is actually a smidge lower than what was budgeted.
That's for the, Gerald, should I consider that for the 237,000?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm comparing that to?
Yes, yes. So it was 200. It was at 239. The 259 was what we had in the budget, and so it was the 237 plus the $30,720. Those are both being expensed to the ECC project, and that was within the amount. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But that doesn't make any. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense because you just added 237 plus 30, which equals 267, and then you're saying that's comparative to the 259.
Right.
And we actually came in under.
Oh, I misspoke then. It was slightly over the amount. 259 was what was budgeted, and it was slightly over that, so we're at 267.
Okay, so my next question would be this. Is that the $30,000 is an annual charge, correct?
Correct. And so what the company's going to do is they're going to prorate it, and we're going to set it up on a. So basically, it'll be in a fiscal period. So I put the amount in there basically to cover a full year. And so what will happen is this first year, it'll only be for 6 months. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So I got that, but my question would be this: the 237 would come out of a capital account for the acquisition of the equipment. The 30,720 should be coming out of an operating account to represent annual maintenance, and it should be part of the annual maintenance budget of the ECC. Is that how this is accounted for? And I want to hear from Gerald on this. Jared Schmidt. Yes.
You're asking about the maintenance cost and whether or not it's included in the operating budget of the ECC?
Yes.
Yes.
So this 30,720 is within the annual operating budget of the ECC.
Yes.
So this 237, is it correct then to say that the original 259 is compared to the 237 or not?
The 259, that's my understanding that that's compared to the 237.
Yeah, can we, because Mr. Foley just gave a different answer to that, so could you just correct that? I want to make sure we have the financing.
I'm looking at the budget. I'm looking at the budget now, and that's what I'm seeing. 259,126 was the amount for the fire station alert system, and that compares to 237. And as far as I know, that is the cost, other than the next item, which is something different.
Well, yeah. So do you have in front of you the operating budget for the ECC? Do you see that the 30,720 in annual maintenance is in the expected operating budget for the ECC then?
If you give me a minute, I can pull that up.
Yeah, I guess, if you wouldn't mind, I think what's confusing here, first of all, thank you for putting the account numbers within this. That is helpful. But in this particular instance, the quote of the account numbers is all a capital account, even though the 30,000 is an operating expense. So what I would expect to see in an item like this is the 237 go to capital, and then the 30,720 go to operating. and make sure everybody understands that we're signing up for that on an annual basis, including the town of Westport.
This is Gerald Foley. So it was my understanding that we were going to put the first year of the maintenance in basically like a bundle. So we were taking the cost of the product plus the maintenance and expensing that to the capital outlay. And then every year thereafter that we would be expensing it to. That's wrong?
Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah, it's not appropriate. Because one is a capital item and one is an operating item by standard accounting rules.
This is Jared. I'm looking at the operating budget, and within the fees and professional services of the ECC, there is $70,740. There's a portion of that is the fire station alerting system, the maintenance operating cost of that.
Yeah, that's what and can the chiefs confirm that just to make sure you guys are responsible for running it? Is that your understanding as well? And thank you, Joe.
It is my understanding, and I've double checked with Assistant Chief Caliper, who's been working on the project, that it is part of the operating expense, the maintenance cost.
Great. Okay. I appreciate that. That helps. And Mr. Baldwin, I know you reviewed this. You don't have any concerns with the contracts whatsoever?
Any concerns I had have been addressed by agreement of the parties.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Baldwin.
You're welcome.
I have no further questions. Thank you to Nancy and Brenda for allowing me to ask mine.
Sure.
I benefit from the wisdom of those questions. I have no further questions to ask.
Okay, very good. So there's no further questions or comments on this item. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Can't hear you, Nance. Okay. Motion carries unanimously. Our next item is item number 7. To hear and consider and authorize the purchasing authority to enter into the proposed contract with Byrix Incorporated to provide radio interface solution to the new fire station alerting system solution for the Fairfield Fire Department in the amount not to exceed $23,000. Is this, yes, $23,200 non-reoccurring capital funds. Do I have a motion? Oh, wait, I need an amendment. I apologize. I need an amendment to this item to ask for it to be $28,200 as opposed to $23,200.
Make the motion as just read.
Yeah, I think we need to put this before us and then make the motion to amend it. I think we need it.
Okay, so, well, first, all right, let's have a motion on the item I just read.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay.
Seconded.
Okay, all right. And now I will ask for an amendment to the main motion to reflect the change of 28,200.
I'll make the motion as read by you just now.
Thank you.
So seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are back to the amended motion. I will open it up to questions from the board.
If
ahead,
nobody
Tom.
has any, I'll go.
Yep.
Go ahead, Nancy. You want me to go?
No, go ahead, Tom.
Oh, okay, thank you. So I'm assuming that, is this $28,200, is this a one-time cost?
Yes, this is part of the operating interface software that will enable the system to talk to the stations. And the reason for the $5,000 change is in anticipation of a radio project upgrade that both police department and fire department hope to move forward on in the coming year. So a modification to that software, or a different software, enabling us to work under the current system as well as the anticipated radio upgrade system is part of that. And it is a one-time deal.
So, Chief, this is this 28,200 is not wasted funds if for whatever reason that other radio project doesn't move forward. Is that correct?
That's correct. It will work both on the legacy system as well as the upgrades that we anticipate.
And my understanding, based on what you just said, is this amount is included in the operating budget as passed by all the town bodies last spring.
This is not, was included in the budget item that was approved for station alerting. We received, as part of the overall project that Gerald just referred to, $259,000 for the hardware and software that will go in the center, and then $196,000 was approved by the boards and commissions for the interface with each of our 5 stations. This represents that interface at the local level.
And this is in line with what this was estimated to cost under that 198?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And Mr. Baldwin, same question to you. The contract is, you have no issues, or your issues have been satisfactorily resolved?
That's correct.
And there's no additional maintenance fee on an annual basis related to this acquisition?
There is not, to my knowledge. Chief Caliper, is there any maintenance associated with this in the operating budget? Maybe it's on the line.
Hello, Selectmen. Any operating cost will be covered under the $30K that is in the previous contract that you approved. So there's no additional operating costs. It's just the capital expenditure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks, Chief. I have no further questions.
Okay. Nancy, do you have anything?
Further questions? Thank you.
Okay, very good. All right. So we have a motion on the amended item and a second. All in favor? Aye. I can't hear you, Nancy.
It's all, I am in favor.
Okay, very good.
Thank you all.
Item passes unanimously. Thank you, Chiefs.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, and we had taken 8 in the beginning. So item number 9 is to hear and consider an act upon tax refunds as recommended by the tax collector in the amount of $10,372.22. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. I'll second it.
Any discussion on this item?
No.
Nope.
Okay, very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Can't hear you, Nancy.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All righty. I just have a couple of announcements. It's October's Tree of Hope is lit on Sherman Green in honor of Pink Pledge. Pink Pledge is a month-long community-wide awareness and fundraising campaign to benefit the Norma Freem Best Cancer Center. The funds raised through the Pink Pledge enable the center, which is located on Beach Road in our town, to continue to provide medical excellence and compassionate care for all women, regardless of their ability to pay. Throughout October, a lot of our businesses and restaurants and fitness centers will be offering special Pink promotions and fun events to support the center. I had the honor of joining the community on Friday here outside on the town green Friday night, and I declared that October was Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it's Pink Pledge Month, and we strolled, and a lot of people came out to support our community. I mentioned during my remarks that I'm always very grateful to see so many members of our community to rally around people, even if they don't have someone in their family who has something or is dealing with something, to rally around those who are. And it was evidenced by the showing and the support that came out on Friday night. So that was good. I have a couple of others. Before I jump in on one other or two other items, I just want to publicly thank all of our residents who sent me very lovely emails and cards and flowers, and friends who sent flowers and food, and for all the warm feelings regarding the passing of my mother, and for people who showed up to pay their respects at her wake. And so I just wanted to thank everyone for their kindness and their patience when I was out of the office during a difficult time. My next item is an update on the Charter Revision Commission. The public hearing is on Wednesday, October 6th at 6:30. I did include it in a quick update on Friday, and it's on the website. It's at 6:30, and the agenda and information instructions on how to participate are up on our website. So I hope everyone got that. You know, a lot of people do read the newsletter. We did post it on the town's pages as well. And I do want to provide a quick update on the mask policy. On Friday, we sent an update out to our residents and all our businesses separately regarding our change in policy. And so the town lifted the mask mandate, and we are following the CDC guidance and recommendations that recommend masks be worn indoors when in close contact with others. And this decision was made in close consultation with our health director and our emergency management director after seeing a consistent downward trend across case rates and hospitalizations, and even more importantly, an increase in our vaccination rate. The full explanation of why we chose to lift the mandate can be found on my update right on the landing page of the town website. Fairfield's positivity rate is 1.8% out of our 61,000 residents that live in our town. We had just over 100 cases in the last 2 weeks, and that's 0.001% of our population. As of today, there are 53 hospitalized in all of Fairfield County hospitals. During the peak, there were 797. In Connecticut, there are currently 250 residents hospitalized, and during the peak, there were 1,972. Some residents have written to me saying that the decreasing trends were evidence that the mask mandate worked. And while I do respect those that have that opinion, I would just like to say there are many towns in our state that didn't have a mask mandate in effect and had similar or even lower case rates than we did. We continue to look at trends as a town, county, state, and our country. And I just want to note that I just read the New York Times published an update today that said the number of new daily cases in the U.S. has fallen 35% since September 1st, and worldwide cases have dropped more than 30% since late August. So I will continue to ask our residents to be respectful of each other and of our differing opinions, because in the end, we are all neighbors. And I just wanted to provide that update. And if there's any comment or questions, please, I'd like to open it up to the board.
Nance, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Okay, very
I'm
good.
good. Thank you, Madam First Selectwoman.
Thank you. All right. Is there any other item that you'd like to discuss at all?
I'd like to, first of all, Brenda, I'd like to, just on a personal note, say, offer my public condolences on your mom. I know it's been difficult for you and your family. It's been a tough year overall, I know. So my thoughts and prayers, as well as I know the thoughts and prayers of the town are with you and your family. And having gone through it, I know the only thing that helps is time. So all the best.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you for the delicious lasagna and porchetta.
An Irishman buying an Italian porchetta and a lasagna. You got to admire my guts.
Well, it's much appreciated. My family enjoyed it immensely.
Good.
All right, if there's no further discussion on any items.
Brenda, I wanted to say, of course, publicly as well, I am sorry for your loss, and I know this is a long-term and ongoing grieving process. So, you know, my best to your family and offers of strength to get you through those dark times ahead, which I know inevitably you will face. So I'm sorry for the loss for your family. And as we say in Judaism, may her memory be a blessing.
Thank you, Nancy.
Very
I
sweet.
appreciate that. All right, everyone. Well, if we have no other items, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I will move to adjourn.
So, seconded.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a
Take
good
care,
evening.
everybody. You too. Bye.
Take care.